to talk about a group called Labour Women Leading, but first of all I want to add my own tribute to the point that John McDonnell, Mark Sirocco and others on the platform made, and that's a tribute to the Labour Representation Committee, because Claire's absolutely right. Back in the 1990s, I was one of those people who was coming to Labour Party conference regularly and was coming to meetings like this, and there were about 6 of us in the room, maybe 10 of us, and we'd sit together and we'd huddle together for warmth, and we'd discuss just how badly we'd been defeated that afternoon on conference floor. And the names of 3 of those people were Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell and Diane Abbott, and there were other people who I'm not going to mention, whose names I'm not going to mention, but I can see them in the room tonight, and I saw them outside a little earlier. And they kept the faith, and they kept going. And I have to confess, comrades, I lost the faith. I didn't believe it would work. When by 2001 I believed that Blair had irrevocably changed the Labour Party, and I left the Labour Party. I thought it was not possible that we would have socialist policies in the Labour Party and socialist policies put forward in a radical manifesto, and I have never been so pleased to be proved wrong in my life. Just since the 2015 general election, the party's changed. The membership's changed from 200,000 or so to nearly 600,000 in just under 2.5 years. The leadership's changed. Our policies have changed. We've got this amazing manifesto, and the Labour Party's engagement with the public has changed. And I have never seen the public greet a mainstream politician with rapturous applause and a rapturous welcome in the way that Jeremy Corbyn has been greeted up and down the country over the last few months. It's just extraordinary, and we've changed political discourse and the public face in politicians as a result. The change in the party has been reflected in some amazing individuals getting elected with some amazing figures. And I just want to give a big shout out to 3 different results. The first is the result of the election to Women's Conference Arrangements Committee. Teresa Clark and Jean Crocker stood from the Centre-Left Grassroots Alliance, and they each got about 80,000 votes, when their nearest opponent got about 27,000 votes. So a big shout out to them. And then just a couple of months ago, maybe just a month ago, we had the one-member, one-vote ballot for Conference Arrangements Committee. And Seema Chandwani and her male comrade Billy Hales, I'll include him in this list, got 109,000 votes. Seema. We're celebrating today, this evening, the result of Amina Ibrahim and Anna Dyer. Amina told you that they had 70% of the vote onto the National Constitutional Committee, but what she didn't tell you, and I'm excited to be able to tell you, is that meant around 145,000 votes each, comrade. These are our sisters, these are our comrades. They're elected to support the socialist leadership of the Labour Party. The one thing that has not changed in the party enough, it's beginning to, is the Parliamentary Labour Party. It's now 45% women. That's not bad. It's a lot better than it used to be. So we're getting better on the women, although we still have a bit of a job to do, but we need to go much further to get better on the socialist women in Parliament. Because I was called out to speak to the people outside when Laura Pidcock was on her feet, and I've read about her, I've watched her on television, I hadn't heard her speak before, but obviously she's amazing, and there are a number of other amazing socialist feminist MPs, some of whom were already in Parliament, some of whom we elected in June 2017, but we need more of them, comrades. We need a parliamentary Labour Party that is reflective of the membership and supports the socialist leadership of Jeremy Corbyn, John McDonnell, Emily Thornberry and Diane Abbott. We have that opportunity. The NEC has decided that 46 out of, I think it's 71, of the key marginals is going to be an all-women shortlist. The great thing about all-women shortlist is it allows Labour Party members political choice. You don't have to think, gosh, should I vote with my principles for a socialist candidate, or should I vote because I want to see a woman in Parliament? You get to vote with your principles, and you know that whatever the result, you will have a woman candidate who will be the Labour candidate in the general election. So we have 46 all-women shortlists. And our job, comrades, as the left on the Labour Party, is to go around looking for socialist, feminist, ideally local working class candidates who can be fully signed up to Jeremy Corbyn's new politics and who will be representative of the membership. So that we change the Parliamentary Labour Party. I have two other short points which are not so much on Labour women leading, but I do want to say. The first is the announcement of the review headed by Katie Clark into the Labour Party's decision-making, which is very welcome indeed. And it's very important that we take part. The Labour Party has a decision-making structure that was imposed on us by Blair in 1997, and a chap called Ken Livingstone described it as being akin to a demented octopus. It is impossible for members' voices to be heard, for their views to be heard. Decision-making mainly takes place behind closed doors, and as we've seen, conference for years and years has been presented with policy documents, and conference delegates has had to vote on them with a take-it-or-leave-it basis. And this year is the first time that has changed. So we now have the opportunity to put representation into this new review in order to have a democratic, clear and transparent decision-making process in the Labour Party. And I would suggest two things. First, that we want that process to be as flat as possible, as broad as possible, so that every Labour Party member's voice can be heard if they want it to be heard. And secondly, when it then comes to taking decisions, that we want it to be as clear and transparent as possible, so that decisions are taken by people who are democratically elected and democratically accountable to those who have elected them. And we know then that Labour Party members' views will be democratically expressed. So we have that opportunity to change the structure of the Labour Party, and we should all take the opportunity to do so. My third point, and this is my last point, Claire, you will be pleased about, is just to mention this fantastic, radical and concrete manifesto that we all campaigned on in May and June just now. And if we had one, if we were in government, then a Labour government led by Jeremy Corbyn implementing this manifesto would now be implementing a programme of redistribution that would make a real difference to the lives of people up and down this country, and would also be implementing a foreign policy based on peace and international human rights. So I'm proud of this, we're all proud of this, but there is one change that I want to see, and you'll think it's heresy until you hear what it is. I would like to see a commitment in the next Labour Party manifesto that a Labour government will cancel the replacement of Trident submarines. Now I know why the policy to maintain Trident was in the manifesto. It was a policy, it was Labour Party policy, it had been decided, democratically or not, but it had been decided through Labour Party decision-making structures. And under our leader, under Jeremy Corbyn, even though he's democratically elected, not once but twice, he does not impose his diktat and change existing Labour Party policy. So I understand that. But that means our job as Labour Party members is to change that policy. And to change that policy through our democratic structures. Cancelling Trident would be a first step towards moving to rid ourselves of nuclear weapons completely. And in this month, in the last couple of weeks, as we have all felt profoundly unsafe watching the standoff between the United States and North Korea, I can't think a better message to send to the world. So let's work for that, comrades. Let's work for socialist women in Parliament who are going to support the leadership democratically elected by members of Jeremy Corbyn. Let's work for a democratic, transparent decision-making structure that incorporates members' voices, and let's really work for the cancellation of Trident in the manifesto so that the next Labour government can send a message of global peace to the world. Thank you.